What's up, y'all? It's your boy Austin back here in another video. Before I get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. We're really going to be dropping some gems on how my friend and I, Miles Daniels, got into the Howard University. You already know, the best HBCU in the land. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. And yeah, let's get into the video. Hey YouTube, it's your boy Austin back here in another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how we got into Howard University on a full scholarship, talking about our GPAs, our stats, all that good stuff. So make sure to take some good notes because we're going to be giving out some solid advice on how we got into Howard. So my name is Austin Delafalls, freshman, chemistry major, nutrition minor at Howard University. And I'm here with...
And my name is Miles Daniels. I'm a freshman biology major from Dallas, Texas. And that's it.
Yeah, so this is Miles Daniels, like he said, biology major at Howard University. So the first tip that I'm going to give out whenever applying to Howard University or just applying to any college in general is you really want to focus in on your test scores and your GPA. So your test scores are going to be the first thing that the admission committee looks at. So make sure that you have a high test score, but at the same time, don't stress about it because there's still other parts of your application that will make you a more ideal candidate. So the next thing that you want to also focus on, like I mentioned, is not only your test scores, but also your GPA. Your GPA is, I would probably say, is probably one of the most important factors on your application because that will tell the admission committee whether you're prepared for the academic rigor at Howard University. So the main thing you want to focus on is your GPA. What do you have to say about that?
About GPA, it's definitely one of the main things that they would definitely look at. I'd say top three things that they look at is test scores, GPA, and your extracurricular activities. But GPA is definitely a big factor. You want to try to make yourself competitive within the GPA space. Now, GPA isn't everything because, it's still other two things that they really look at. But you don't want your GPA to be the reason why you don't get into your college. So that's the main advice I can give.
Right. So in order to increase your GPA, if you didn't know this already, you can take classes called advanced placement courses, and those help boost your GPA above the normal 4.0. In high school, my GPA, I had a 4.3 GPA, but like he said, that's not the main factor that determines whether you get into Howard University or any college or not. But just make sure to challenge yourself in the courses that you're taking. Don't just pad your resume with a whole bunch of APs that you don't even enjoy. Just do the classes that you enjoy. Take those APs and just try and boost your GPA. Anything you want to add to that?
And I would also recommend if you don't want to take AP credits, because I didn't take a lot of AP credits. I took the main science AP credits and then math AP credits, but other than that, I didn't really want to get into like AP English or any of that because I wasn't interested in it at all. But if you don't want to do that, I would recommend taking dual credit enrollment classes because you still get some sort of a GPA boost on your weighted GPA, but I would say that it's not gonna say they're not as hard as AP classes, but it's definitely a lot less tedious work than an AP class, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I'm like him. I did mainly just the science and the math AP courses. I didn't do any humanities or AP English, AP psychology or anything like that. I mainly just did the AP chemistry, the AP biology, the classes that I personally enjoy. Also did dual enrollment courses because that also helps you get some of those prerequisites out during your freshman year. So try and take some of those dual enrollment courses that may be offered at a local college in your state. So yeah, that was like the first main tips to focus on. Main things to focus on is gonna be like your test scores and your GPA. So Miles, what was your SAT score since you're in Texas?
So my SAT score was I got a 1380 on my SAT score, and my weighted GPA was about a 4.4. My unweighted GPA was actually a lot lower than average. I had about a 3.4 unweighted GPA. Now, remember when I say GPA isn't everything, that's not the only thing they're gonna look at. I also had a lot of really, really good and really extracurriculars that kind of set me apart. So it kind of made up for my lower unweighted GPA.
Right, right. So for me, I took the ACT since I'm in Louisiana, and since he's in Texas, he did the SAT. You can do either one. Howard personally doesn't prefer either one. You can do ACT or SAT. But for me, I took that scored a 30 on the ACT, and my weighted GPA, like I mentioned earlier, was a 4.3. And as we keep mentioning, GPA and test scores aren't everything, but it's still an important factor that you want to focus on. Now, the next thing that you really want to hone in on is going to be community service / extracurricular activities. That is probably
I'd say that's more important than your GPA and your test scores, if I'm being completely honest. Like, GPA and test scores is still a major factor, but the reason why you get into a college could be because of your lacking extracurricular activities or your outstanding extracurricular activity. That could be a major reason why they would accept you or not accept you.
Agreed. You definitely want to, show the admissions that you're a well-rounded candidate, because your GPA, it only tells a small part about you. Your extracurriculars give that extra bonus information that may not be in your application. So if you volunteered at a hospital, that's an extracurricular activity. If you started a club, that's an extracurricular activity. Include all of those on your application. But the main thing that you really want to focus on in terms of extracurriculars is taking that initiative, and if you see something that you want to do, get it started. If it's not already there, start it. And if it's already there, join it and try and get a leadership position in that club. Because you don't want to just be a part of the club. You want to be a difference maker. I think that's the main thing that colleges are looking for, is those difference makers that can step onto the college campus and make it a better place. What do you have to?
Yeah, and I would say clubs are definitely a great way to get a lot of extracurricular activities in. But if you're an athlete, I would say sports is definitely a major thing that you can push on your application, because it shows that not only do you care about your mental health, about your mental ability, you also care about your physical ability too. And that's what really makes a really good, well-rounded applicant. Because nobody wants somebody who's just one-sided when they try to tackle a problem. You don't want somebody who only does school, who only cares about their GPA and test scores, because that's just an unrealistic way to think about things. You want to be, if you can play sports and you're really good at it, I would definitely try to push that more on your application. If you're good enough to play at your college, then I would definitely look into doing that. But sports was a major factor in my high school career. I ran track all 4 years of high school. I was on varsity 3 out of the 4 years of high school, so that was a really big thing that helped me with my application.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, if you don't really get involved in as many clubs, definitely try and join sports if that's something you enjoy. Like he said, he did track. I also did track as well. I did it for 2 years out of the 4 years of my high school. And you can definitely learn a lot. So what were some of the extracurriculars that you participated in, like outside of track?
Well, I was in NHS, and then my senior year, I was an NHS officer. I did track, like I said. What else was I in? I was in Jack and Jill as a high schooler, so I tried to get on the executive board on Jack and Jill, and I feel like that helped me with my application. But then also during the summers, I did things like this is a really big thing that you can do to really boost your application. You can get a job during the summer. A job can help also, but if you feel like you don't need the money or you don't need to work, I would really look into trying to getting into some internship opportunities that you can do. There's definitely internship opportunities that you can do as a high schooler. Now, they're not necessary because it's still kind of early to do them, but if you know what you want to do in life, I would definitely try to look into, just look up internships for high schoolers in whatever field you want to do.
Yes.
I can guarantee you'll find some, and sometimes it's even just a summer camp or something like that. But it's just an internship opportunity within that summer camp, and you can label it as a research internship or an internship. So that's, you just gotta know how to play your cards right with the things that you did in high school.
Yes.
And I would definitely say, if you know what you want to do in life, if you know you want to go to college for this particular thing, I would definitely look into doing some internships as a high schooler.
For sure. I agree with that 100%. Like, you want to definitely try to hone in on what you're interested in. So if you love chemistry and biology and in the STEM field, look up some STEM summer camps that are offered or some STEM internships. So I wouldn't personally recommend going for the super expensive summer camps, because those can get pretty expensive. Try and find some ones that are free. I personally found one that was in Michigan. I attended there my summer going into my senior year, and it was like a research opportunity for 2 weeks, and I had the opportunity, participate in like research, do all these great things because I was interested in like the science, the STEM field, like I mentioned. So try and find those free summer camps and internships to show that admissions committee that you learn outside of the classroom, because that's an important factor. Having intellectual curiosity, be willing to learn, outside of the classroom, not just what the teacher is presenting to you inside the classroom. That you want to really focus in on is going to be your application essays. That's another thing that can make or break your application. I know most people apply through the Common App, but I know other universities do like their own specific admissions. I know through Howard, they had their own separate application essays. So some tips with the essays is to focus in on your grammar. You don't want to have a whole bunch of grammatical errors going through your essays as the people are reading through them. So make sure to get 2 or 3 people that you really trust, whether it's an English teacher, your parents. Get somebody to just read through it multiple times to make sure that it matches with your personality. Because you don't want to be lying on your application or kind of expanding on stuff that you really didn't do. So make sure to be truthful in your essays, because you want to be a genuine person in your application.
Yeah, for sure. And I know I'm just talking for Howard, but lately Howard has been getting a lot of news in the press. So I definitely feel like the admissions are going to be, the amount of people that are applying are definitely going to shoot up within the next few years. And so that essay could be one of the main reasons that sets you apart from the rest of the other 30,000 kids that are going to apply to the school.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely focus on the essays. And if you have a resume, definitely talk about what's on your resume, but make it so that you can expound on it. Because if you add it on your resume and you're going to talk about it in your essay, you have to let them know that was a major part of your life. I feel like.
Yeah, something to add to that is not just like listing what you've done like on your essays. It's finding like something that was really impactful, finding the underlining theme of that activity or whatever you participated in. And like you said, expounding on that, how it impacted you. What did you feel after this experience? What did you do after? Like finding those different themes and having different branches that you can, write about in your essays. And I think that's a huge difference maker. And your essay is another way to show the admissions committee who you are outside of your ACT, SAT, GPA, your extracurriculars. It's a way to show them who you are as a person, your genuine self. And yeah, like you said, just make sure to get a resume as well. That's another thing. I know we're giving a lot of tips, but it's just a lot of stuff that we had going through our heads as we were applying to Howard. So as I mentioned, we both received, what was it?
Like the Carson Scholars?
Yeah, the Carson Scholars. We both received that. So that's another part of the application through Howard. If you want to do that, that's how we got our full scholarships. So if you want to like tell them a little bit about like the program.
So basically Carson Scholars is a program where it's for undergrads who are looking to pursue a PhD or MD PhD degree, and it's really about the STEM fields majority. You have to be within the STEM field to be within the program. You can be biology, chemistry, mechanical engineering, computer engineering, computer science. You could be any of those things and be in the Carson Scholars Program. That's how our way was getting a scholarship to this school. But there's definitely other ways to get your college paid for at Howard. I feel like you can do, if you have the grades for it, you can get the presidential scholarship. That's a full scholarship to Howard. If you can also present financial aid and need for it, so you don't have to necessarily have the best grades, but you can still get a lot of your college paid for.
Right.
From the university because of the financial aid and need. You can do outside scholarships. Outside scholarships are a big thing. I definitely applied to some outside scholarships, and yeah, it definitely helps out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So that's another thing. Like when applying to the Carson Scholars Program was a totally separate application process than getting into Howard. So that's another thing that you want to consider. You don't want to just get into the college. You also want to find ways to the college to pay for you to go to their college. That's the name of the game at the end of the day, is the money. How much money are you getting from that college? Thank the Carson Scholars Program for rewarding me with a scholarship, because that's how I'm able to attend Howard University.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, the same tips apply whenever you're applying to the Carson Scholars Program. You know, focus on your ACT, your test scores, GPA, extracurriculars, all those good things. But it's not something to stress about. You know, just go through your high school career, focus on your grades, and just be you. Don't try and slap this thing on your application because Howard's gonna love this. No, just do it because you want to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And then whenever you figure out what you actually want to do, you'll put a lot more effort into it than if you were just trying to put on your resume. I feel like, just find a passion of yours. Like, your passion might be within a club, your passion might be within a sport. But just find something to do in high school besides school. You got to find something to do that you can put on paper besides school. And that's definitely a big booster that's going to help you.
Yeah, I agree with that. So one of my mentors who goes to Howard mentioned to me, like, whenever you're in a club, you want to be intentional about being in that club. So like I said earlier, you don't want to just be in the club, be a member. You want to try and get a leadership position and make a difference in that club. And I think by doing that, you're actively participating in the club, and eventually you'll start to enjoy it more. And it's not just another thing on your application. You can begin to talk about the experiences that you had beyond just being there at the meetings. Any like lasting like final tips or about to get into Howard?
I guess final tips is just do what you have to do I guess just do what you have to do to get where you want to be, I guess. I mean, trying to get a high GPA all the time, don't stress about that. Don't stress about, just trying to get a high GPA. Do what you can do your best. Don't stress about, I need to get this point on an SAT. Don't stress about that. Because sometimes that, like, test scores and GPA and stuff, depending on your situation, it can be really hard to get those things at a really, really competitive level. Mm-hmm. And that's not anything that has to do with you. It just has to do with the situation that some people are in. And so if you can, if your strengths are in school or aren't in academics, you can find your strength in other things that can really boost yourself as an applicant, in my opinion. So, just focus on your strengths and try to push your strengths, but get your weaknesses to be where they're not going to hold you down.
Yeah, so that's some great final tips. So, like, for me, my final tips are just, enjoy yourself, enjoy your high school experience, because it only happens once. Still focus in on your grades, test scores, all that stuff that we mentioned earlier. And I think the number one thing is just to find ways to motivate yourself and improve the areas around you. Find ways to get involved in your community. Just make a difference. That's the biggest thing, is finding a way to be a difference maker in whatever situation you may be placed in, and take that initiative, take that leadership, and you'll be fine. Like you said, don't stress about those superficial things like your test scores and your GPA. Those will come with hard work and just practice. But yeah, y'all got it. I hope y'all took some notes on this video. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank Miles for joining in on the video. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the video. That's it. Peace.
All right.